I have a problem. I wanted to replay my tutorial fortress, and when I ran it forward to year 250, we've got some interesting neighbours. And then I did a tutorial about reclaiming ruins, and I found the most fascinating evil ruin. And then I did a tutorial about advanced parameters, and I found the most amazing dwarven Utopia. So I've decided we're going to play all three at once. We'll start each fortress at year 250, and we'll follow along with all three fortresses, and we'll see how they progress along the same timelines. We have a good Utopia embark, a wilderness neutral embark, and we have a sinister evil ruin to reclaim. Let's start by having a look at the worlds in which we're embarking. Here's our Utopia world. So here we are in the world of enchantment. I think I've decided on a 7x5 embark. It's a bit of an unusual size. That'll allow us to have the waterfall somewhat towards the middle of the embark, while still having the volcano on the map. Now let's have a look at the biomes. Okay, so the mirthful biome covers pretty much everything. Then we've got a temperate mirthful biome over to the east, and a warm temperate biome covering most of our map. We want to land somewhere in the middle because that will be closer to the waterfall than anywhere else. So I'm going to make sure that I leave it on F1. Your embark point will relate to which of the biomes you had selected at the time that you embark. So we want to make sure that we've got F1 selected. If I selected F2, we would arrive somewhere close to the volcano, but we'll go for F1. We only have dwarves and elves as local neighbours. However, there is a tower just off to the east of us, which is a human tower. So we may get some human visitors, not human visitors that we'd necessarily want to deal with, but I don't think we'll be under threat by them, certainly not in the early game. We shouldn't have any particular threats, except maybe kobolds. We did see that we had skulking in the area. Now, which dwarven civilization are we going to belong to? We'll go for a large one so that we have more likelihood of more choices of materials and items in the embark screen. So the artifact of attics, the mortal constructs looks a little smaller. The archers of dances look quite small, as do the stoke gears. So it's between the mortal constructs up in the northwest and the artifact of attics. I think the artifacts of attics looks like the larger kingdom to belong to. We have an extreme variation in the relative elevation on the map, and it's going to be very, very cliffy. Okay, let's embark. Now let's have a look at the world of our wilderness embark. So here is where we're going to embark for our wilderness playthrough. It is exactly the same location that I used for my basic tutorial. We're replaying this same embark. We're slightly further to the south, and we couldn't expand quite as far to the east because, as you can see here, we're butted right up against the wall of the elves. We are in the mighty jungle. We have sand, some soil, shallow metals, deep metals and fluxstone running through the centre, and clay off to the side with multiple shallow metals on both sides of our embark. Slightly different this time. It's 250 years, so it's 100 years later than the tutorial play, and we now have two towers that have set up in our area. We have a tower here and a tower here. And interestingly, just here is a ruined elven establishment of some description that has a night creature living in it. I'm not entirely sure what that is. We might find out at some point. We want to choose our civilization. I think the roughness of cacti sounds like the best option. They're close by. That might be useful. We are not too low, not too high. We're about middle in there in the corner. And it's relatively flat. Well, we know how it looks because we were there before. And let's embark. Right, but let's have a look at the evil ruin first. We'll have a look at the world and then we'll go into the embark party of the 3 groups. Now here we've got quite a fascinating ruin. The F1 biome is fairly typical. Clay, little soil, deep metals and a fluxstone layer. But if we have a look at the F2 biome, it's a sinister biome. Now that's really interesting. It's very difficult to find a reclaimable fortress that is in something other than a neutral biome because dwarves can't set up in anything other than neutral biomes. Now it is a reclaimable ruin. So what has brought this about? Could it be that this was a dwarven settlement that settled in neutral surroundings that later became evil? Did evil spread there? And what is it that made them become evil? There's no towers in the area. I've had a look around at the neighbouring regions and the evil doesn't spread very far, but it's also not centred around the ruin. And what caused the fall of this dwarven ruin? Did it used to be a tower and the evil started to spread and the dwarves attacked it and then abandoned it? Did the dwarves live there and then were unable to survive against the horrors that exist in a sinister biome? Were they chased out by a forgotten beast or some other monster that might still be lurking in the depths? Now, we could find out just by pressing the tab key and getting some more information on this, but I'm so fascinated by this fortress that I think we might just have to play it without knowing and go there and just see what we find. Let's reclaim Logemtulon. Let's just check it out first and see what we can find out about it. Let's just get an embark tile of the right size and then move it up there so we can see what we would get. We would have dwarves, goblins, elves and humans as neighbours. The solitary road would be the most likely candidate for the dwarven civilization that once owned this site. It's a relatively low site and we have a very flat area to the right hand side, the eastern side of the map, and quite hilly to the north and in the centre. Well, let's reclaim Logemtulon. So first the evil ruin party. Okay, we're all set up and ready to go. So a bit of a different strategy this time because we're going to somewhere that may be dangerous. So what we have is enough tools, enough things that every one of the 7 have got something they can use as a weapon. So we have a silver war hammer. And one of our dwarves has some points in being a hammerman. We have 1 axe for the woodcutter, and then everybody else has picks. We're taking an anvil with us because there's no guarantee that a merchant will definitely be able to get there. And we've cut back on the alcohol a little. The same with the seeds. I haven't brought the variety of meats with us this time, because I'd just rather them carry a small number of barrels underground. We'll make rock pots, it's fine. Now, we've been skimping a little bit on the points, so I haven't brought a rope. What I've done instead is to bring some extra cloth. The idea being that we might need a rope for a well and a rope for a traction bench relatively quickly. I've also brought more thread with us. That's because we might have more wounded people more quickly. Rather than bring glass and bags, I've brought some sand. The sand comes with bags, and so we can turn that sand into glass and the empty bags will be free for other uses. I've brought some gypsum powder. I've also brought some logs just in case we have to get underground too fast for us to be able to collect wood. On the animal front, I've been a bit conservative with which animals we're bringing. I've brought peahens and geese, and I've added extra peahens rather than bring leather with us. As long as the animal is a leather producing animal, one skin equals one piece of leather. Doesn't matter the size of the animal. I've brought pigs with us as they'll provide underground meat source and leather source. Some cats, some dogs, we'll hope they survive long enough. Now our dwarves. Gary Lindy is the only female of the group. Now she is the brave one of the group, so I've given her the hammer skills and also some dodging skills. Now Kvatch is the best person we have for being a tactician, and also given him just 1 point in being a novice diagnostician, so that we've got somebody with a little bit of backup skill as a doctor. Now Dave here, I have given him some wrestling, dodging, and a little bit of diagnostician skills. Now Spotted Cow has a deep respect for animals and nature, so I'm going to put them on plant gathering when we arrive if it's safe to, and then I'll make them into a mason. So for them, I've given Spotted Cow adequate wrestling and adequate dodging skills. Einhorn is strong, so I've given him some mining skills. That'll just help him to dig us to safety faster. I've also given Einhorn wrestling and dodging skills just to help keep him safe. And Big Owl the same. Big Owl is also quite strong, so I've given him some mining skills and some dodging skills, but he has a good feel for social relationships and languages and a good intellect. So I've given him just a little bit of skill in appraising, just enough that we could at least know the price of things. And Greg is going to be our doctor. Greg isn't especially cut out for being a doctor, but he can handle stress. So he's probably the best one that we've got. He's also going to be our woodcutter, so he'll take the axe. And looking at what we'll get them doing, Greg will grab the axe and Gary will be grabbing the hammer. So I've put Gary into carpentry. Now Gary is strong and brave, so I've put Gary in charge of recovering the wounded. Now we have two people, and that's Gary and Greg, who are more resilient than the others. The others have some sort of combination of being fearful and nervous. So I've started off by only allowing Gary and Greg to handle any burial duties, any corpse shifting. We might have to tinker with these depending on the situation, but this is how we're getting set up at the outset. Okay, I'm quite excited about this embark. Let's go. While our dwarves are making their way there, let's have a look at the party that we're sending off into the wilderness. Our fortress shall be called Omristiton, the Wild Halls. Our local government is going to be called Xanos Omrist, the Hope of Wildness. And our symbol is the Crystalline Pass, the image of 7 warhammers. Okay, I've named the dwarves and given them their tasks and sorted out all the embark. Let's show you who we've got, what they're doing and what we're taking. So Lolly here. Of all of the people we've got, Lolly is our best trader. Navy Vet is going to be our leader and tactician. Talia doesn't have any particularly special skills. Kevin, we're giving Kevin a head start on mining so that we can get the mining going pretty quickly. I'd like to get underground relatively quickly with having a little bit of an interesting embark on our hands. Of the people who are not weak, he's the one who dreams of mastering a skill, so I think we can make his dream come true. Kleinadev has no particular skills. Now Tammy has a special need to help people, and along with some other skills, it makes her a good doctor. She also has a particularly calm demeanour. Because they're in the hospital, and a hospital can be a dangerous place, it's close to the front line, they can often get to see bodies, so it's a good job for a calm person. Bernie's our awkward person. He's the only one of the bunch who can't handle stress. We don't have any special skills given to him. I'll show you how I've set these people up. Tammy and Lolly and Kleiner Dev all have either good stress management or calm demeanours, so I've allowed them to do burial. Tammy doesn't mind the outdoors, so I've given Tammy wood cutting. Lolly is strong, so I've given her the job of recovering wounded. The other 4 I've made into miners so that we can get our mining going pretty quickly. So 4 miners means we need 4 copper picks and 1 copper battle axe for chopping down the trees. We've brought a whole pile of alcohol, a whole pile of seeds, plenty of different meats and things. I've brought 3 of each of the different types of cloth, and I have some thread for the hospital, a rope for the traction bench. We've brought some zinc bars, glass and leather for people going into strange moods, and a good stock of gypsum plaster. We have 2 female dogs, a male dog, 2 female cats, a male cat. I'm not bothering to bring any pigs this time. At the recommendation of one of my commenters, I've brought some geese as well as peacocks for variety of food. So we've got 3 geese and a gander. We only need males for the birds that are going to breed. Yes, I've brought llamas for wool. I've brought guinea hens for variety with 1 guinea cock, and peahens and peacocks. Time to go, embark. While our dwarves make their way to the wilderness, let's have a look at the party that's heading into Utopia. A bit of a different party. We'll follow them through and we'll have a look at their first days in their new place. This is our little party of homesteaders. Between them they have a range of agricultural skills, and they're setting off to seek their utopia where they're going to set up their own little homesteads. The homestead is going to be called Watership the Meadow Mists. They call themselves the Village of Autonomy, and their symbol is the Farm of Joys. It's an image of 2 llamas and 7 strawberry plants. The 2 llamas are surrounded by the 7 strawberry plants. Now they have a strange mix of skills, not what you'd normally expect a bunch of dwarves to set off with. A little mixture of agricultural experience, one with a little carpentry skill. Thankfully one of them does have some doctoring skills. Gary's a mason, and Hops knows quite a bit about brewing and cooking. Now Dowley is an interesting character. I suspect that Dowley is going to become the expedition leader. So Dowley has got a number of good skills that suit her abilities with language, and she'll be our trader. Now Architect is a proficient military tactician, but also quite an adequate miner, and they're taking with them a number of things to tide them over to get them going. Almost everybody has their own pick, except for Zapdos, who has brought his copper battle axe, because he's our woodcutter. They're taking with them a number of birds, a couple of llamas, and of course some dogs and cats. Right, let's embark. We have arrived. After a journey from the mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond, our harsh trek has finally ended. Our party of 7 is to make an outpost for the glory of all of Zan and Doc. There are almost no supplies left, but with stout labour comes sustenance, whether by bolt, plough or hook, we will provide for our dwarves. We're expecting a supply caravan just before winter entombs us, but it is spring now. Enough time to delve secure lodgings ere the grizzly bears get hungry. A new chapter of dwarven history begins here at this place. Arul Zuglar Kenisod, Watership the Meadow Mists. Strike the earth. Okay, we've arrived. I've had a little look around at this embark, and we've arrived, let's see, to the northwest is the volcano, and it's a really interesting geography on this map. We've got this massive valley here. Let's go down. There we go, to the bottom of the valley where we've got this really large piece of flat land here, which is cut through by the river. And this river has a really steep canyon all the way to the top. I go up, and then this top plateau here is split in two by this other river. Now, I've had a look at the animals on here, and I think the only things we need to be worried about on this map is that we've got a few alligators knocking around. So I would like to get the dwarves and the stuff underground. So we don't need to worry too much about enemies, but we do need to just take the usual precautions about thieves and the wild animals on the map as well. So having looked around and decided where we want to go, and I really want to use this waterfall here, so I've laid out a little bit underneath. I thought this is the village of autonomy. Our dwarves are a bunch of homesteaders. So they're all going to want little farms and little farmsteads. So rather than the usual big shared rooms areas, I thought we'd do something a bit different here because we don't have quite so much to worry about, so we can experiment a little bit. So I'll show you what I've set up. Okay, we have a very large waterfall. On each level, I've laid out just this big central room and the three main staircases. So when you're setting up your fortress, if you've got your main staircases decided, then you can kind of just wing it from there. Just knowing where you're laying out your staircases is a good thing. So this, I think, is going to be the main level for our starter dwarves. I've made 8 little houses for them around this shared main hall. So I thought, yeah, they'll have a sort of a main hall where they all eat together, but then they'll live in their own little houses where we have like a little workshop layer on each level, and then they have a staircase up, so they all have their own little piece of farmland. And then down below is where they'll each have their own little bedroom. And what I've done is on the starter pack, I've put a population cap of 7. So we're not going to get any migrants until I am ready for it. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is to get them and their stuff over here. So where do we want to break in? Well, our dwarves are not going to be very good at mining yet, so I'm going to bring them in at the sand level. So some of these areas here are just cliffs, that's an open space, so there'll be no way through the wall there. But I think here and here, yeah, they've both got upward slopes, so we should be able to dig through there. So we'll tell them to dig through here. And then we'll toggle the markings across here. Maybe we'll do that middle one as well, and then through there, and then we'll get them to do, say, that part of the room. That'll be enough storage area for them, and they've got enough room to travel around. Okay, dwarves, let's let you do that. Oh, look, the waterfall started flowing. Nice. Meanwhile, what are the alligators doing? Got an alligator snapping turtle. He looks like he's moving away. The alligators are all over here. Now let's catch up on the dwarves who've arrived at the wilderness embark. You have arrived after a journey from the mountain homes, the forbidding wilderness beyond. Your harsh trek has finally ended. Your party of 7 is to make an outpost for the glory of all Dumat Kithin. There are almost no supplies left, but with stout labour comes sustenance, whether by bolt, plough or hook. Provide for your dwarves. You are expecting a supply caravan just before winter entombs you, but it is spring now. Enough time to delve secure lodgings ere the alligators get hungry. A new chapter of dwarven history begins here at this place, on Ristiton Wild Halls. Strike the earth. Okay, so we have arrived. I've done a little bit of planning out on this fortress. So we want to get underground straight away. We've got 2 towers nearby. We don't know how long we've got until we get an attack by the undead. They might not even target us. They might just happen to wander through the map, spot us and attack. So that could be 2 years from now. It could be 2 weeks from now. I have laid out the perimeter of the fortress. Looks like this. And heading down, I probably won't use much of this floor, but just a little bit of it for the butcher. Down there will be the farm, then the wood and clothing industry, the communal areas, the trade floor, then some storage for trade, some workshops, 2 floors for workshops, and then the bedrooms will start there. So that's the basic layout of the fortress. I've just put some bits in there to get us going, but the important thing is the security. So what we'll have here is this will be the way into the fortress to start with. What we want to do, let's designate, box select, and we want to toggle markings. So we'll dig down there. We'll go down the stairs here and there to this upstairs here. We'll come along the corridor to those upstairs, and then we'll have a downstairs there. And then we'll come in from here to here. Let's see, if we just do an area like that, that will be enough space to be able to get most of our stuff in to start with. And then I need to get them digging out some stones. So, okay, dwarfs, go for it. Let's keep an eye on them. So we've got 2 pieces of rock there at least. What's that? Basalt. Okay. So the first couple of days in the wilderness have treated our dwarves quite gently. Let's go and see how things are getting on with the evil ruin reclaim. We have arrived. After a journey from the mountain homes into the forbidding wilderness beyond, our harsh trek has finally ended. Our party of 7 is to make an outpost for the glory of all of Nugbulmulton. There are almost no supplies left, but with stout labour comes sustenance. Whether by bolt, plough or hook, we shall provide for our dwarves. We're expecting a supply caravan just before winter entombs us, but it is spring now. Enough time to delve secure lodgings ere the dingoes get hungry. A new chapter of dwarven history begins here at this place. Logemtulun, the painted road. Strike the earth. Okay, we've arrived. Now, let's see what we've got here. So that appears to be the way down. Looks like we've got a tavern area. Yep, with bedrooms. Now this is unusual. What's this? It's like some little tower area. Tower area with no roof. Okay. I think... wasn't expecting that. That's actually a bit problematic. We're going to have to just wall this in pretty quickly, I think, because to get up here and roof this in is going to take us some time, and it's going to be faster for us to just build walls around it. I thought we'd only need to wall off a 3 gap to make us secure inside. Right, let's have a look downstairs and see what we've got. Okay, it goes down. Oh, what was that? Like a little room there. No openings though. Does it open to the caverns somewhere? No, apparently not. Or is that just as far as we can see? Maybe. Now this little tower here, which is quite common, that at least is roofed in. Let's have a look at what we've got on the rest of the map. So this is the evil area over here. We should have a look and see who else is on the map with us. No other creatures. That's good. That's really good. No one has gone missing or died. The year is still young. Indeed. Got a few trees. I think we're going to have to go out and cut down those trees so that we can use the trees as walls. Yeah, that's going to have to be our first priority. So because we're in an evil biome, we're at risk of having evil clouds come in anytime soon. Right, so first thing I'm going to do is to get a meeting area put in. So we'll do a zone. Okay, there's already a zone over there. It's the plum of basements. I'm not sure I want a meeting area. Let's just have a look at locations. We have a weaponsmith's guild hall, a blacksmith's guild hall, a bower's guild hall, a tavern which is all visitors welcome. I'm going to change that. Yeah, citizens and long-term residents only. And a temple somewhere downstairs, I guess. We're going to say citizens and long-term residents only there as well, so we don't attract... Oh, there are people who are named. We've got priests already associated with that temple. That's curious. In fact, the plumb of basements, I'm going to retire that. The temple, I'm going to retire... Shall I retire that? I was... not sure. We'll leave it for the moment. Right, but I'm going to make a... I'm going to remove this meeting zone first. And then I'm going to make another meeting zone. Yeah, over here. This will just bring the animals in then. So that'll be the meeting area. Okay, we want to deconstruct the wagon. We do want a food stockpile. I don't think that's our biggest concern though. I think we want to get this level secure first. So let's build a wall. Put box select on. And we'll get those two bits. Oh, of course we can't because there's constructed floor there. Okay, let's remove constructions first then. Right, get those bits of floor deconstructed. Meanwhile, our tree chopper. Go chop that tree. And that tree. That'll give us some logs that we can make walls out of. And we'll get a wood stockpile put just inside the door. Now, we do have some stuff in here. What I could do is to unforbid the armour. I'd like to get all of the food moved into a food stockpile. Trousers, robes, do we have any actual armour here? Oh, we do. Well, we'll tell them that they can wear those. So what have we got? Leggings and greaves and gauntlets. Got some iron armour and some copper armour. Helms. Okay. Now, who are our military? Right, Gary Lindy, you are our hammer dwarf. I think we need to get you geared up straight away and into the military. So we'll go nobles, militia commander. Kvatch is our tactician, so we'll make Kvatch the militia commander. Then military, create squad. Right, metal armour. That's Kvatch. And then we'll have a new squad with metal armour. And that'll be led by... Is it Greg? No, it was Gary. So squads B, the wet sacks. I would like you to move to here. We need to start exploring and just make sure that it really is safe. Okay, go. Something has collapsed on the surface. Okay, what was that then? There is a warrior of Tobal hidden away here. Hidden away where? This is a little bit worrying. Oh God, who? Oh God, oh this doesn't look good. Where are you? Oh yeah. I am not sure we are going to survive more than the first few minutes. So others, what is this warrior of Tobal Maceman? A large three-eyed humanoid. It has large mandibles. Its charcoal skin is sleek and smooth. This night creature was first created by the dwarven necromancer Tobal Pickmatchers of Helmed Dented after horrible experiments on the goblin Zolak Monstrosora in Rustless Wet in the year 175. He is short and very weak. This does not sound good. Eye of Night Corpse and an Eye of Night Wrestler. So did something here collapse and kill something? Maybe fortunately? Okay, let's just see what happens. There's a goblin there as well. And an Eye of Night. Oh god, what is all of this collapse? Alright. What's still alive here? That's a goblin corpse. That's the Eye of Night. That's an Eye of Night. Yeah, it's an ambush. Okay, how many things have we got? An Eye of Night corpse. A one-eyed humanoid. It has a short tail. Its charcoal skin is wrinkled. This night creature was first created by the amphibian man necromancer Desley Pondered Belly of Helmet Dented after horrible experiments on goblins in Tickcross in the year 168. Okay, so we've got a corpse, a wrestler, a swordsman and a maceman. I think the first thing we're going to have to do is just get everybody in the military and try and kill the things that are here. Let's just have a look at so the Eye of Night Wrestler is fighting. Yeah, he just fell. Alright, forget everything else. We need to get everybody in the military. Wet sacks. Okay, let's see how it goes. Right, B. Go and kill... Go try take out the goblin corpse first. Yeah, I don't know that we're going to survive this, but let's try. An ambush. Have we found other things? Oh, what else have we found? Are we seeing increase? Oh god, we are seeing increasing numbers. Oh boy, yeah, they're over here as well. Oh, this doesn't look good. This looks really bad. Every step we're finding something new. The wet sacks are struggling even with the goblin corpse. And there's more things upstairs. How many people are still alive? We've only got 3 of us still alive. Well, it looks like this one's not gonna go on for very long. Yeah. Okay, who's left? Just Big Al. Oh dear. And we've found more enemies. How many do we have now? We've got 18. 18 enemies that we've discovered so far. And there's more. 19 enemies. 20 enemies. Big Al's still holding on. Can't be for long though. How many have we found now? Still 20? And there we go. Well, that was eventful. So what are we going to do now? I really want to know how this ruin came to be. Well, I think in the next episode, we'll go into Legends mode and we'll find out a little bit of history about this evil ruin here. We'll see who these people are who've set up. And then we've got 3 choices. We can, 1, try and embark there again. Now that we know what we're facing, we can maybe approach it with a little more caution. 2, we can go in adventure mode and take something like a vampire demigod and see if we can clear out some of the enemies. Or 3, we could set up a war camp in a tile next door and build up an army and go and take on the fortress. And I think we might have to try all 3 of these, so I think we'll do it in that order. We'll try to re-embark there first. If that fails, which I think is most likely, then we'll go out in adventure mode and we'll see if we can send a party of adventurers to conquer it. That might work. If it doesn't, then we'll set up a war camp next door and we'll do an evil embark in the neighbouring region. So I hope you've enjoyed this first episode. Thank you for watching. Please come back for episode 2, where I have a feeling we might have a few more eventful happenings. Bye for now.